Well, good afternoon to you, and I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm a little behind schedule today, and I will be tomorrow, so it'll be early afternoon tomorrow as well. We have our vacation Bible school this week, and it runs in the evening, so we're coming later and staying till the end of VBS instead of going home and coming back and doing all that. So anyway, we're here today, this afternoon, to spend some time in the truth. Coming back to Exodus chapter 30. God has prescribed for Moses and given him instructions in relation to the altar of incense and what Aaron and the priests will do in offering acceptable sacrifices on the altar of incense twice a day, once in the morning when they go in to trim the light for the day, the lampstand, and then in the evening when they go to return to trim the lamp, they will also maintain the altar of incense. So twice a day, the altar of incense will be maintained. From here, or from there, we go to Exodus chapter 30, verses 11 through 16, where God describes the way in which funds are going to be collected to administer the ministries of the tabernacle, to do its maintenance, to take care of it, to provide for the priests at some level, and to provide for whatever ministries the tabernacle needs to afford for the people. God is going to prescribe now a census tax in order for those funds to be raised once a year. And so the census tax is going to be described in these 7 verses. Verse 11, the Lord said to Moses, when you take the census of the people of Israel, then each shall give a ransom for his life to the Lord when you number them, and there shall be no plague among them when you number them. So each one is to give a ransom for his life. This tax is going to be imposed on all of the men in Israel that are 20 years old and over. Which is a significant number of men at this point in Israel's history. If we look forward into Israel's history in the very near future, the army is going to be numbered, and the number of men that are of fighting age able to be included in the army of Israel is over 600,000 men. That's just those that are able to, in that year range between 20 and whatever. And then there's going to be some, I'm pretty sure there are some that are older than that would not be serving in the army, but they would still be paying this tax. So anyway, just to come up with a general number here, 600,000 men, we're going to round it up to that, just to say that's what the population of men is at this point, as Israel is going to receive these instructions. God says that it's a ransom for them. And so, interestingly, I looked up the word in the Hebrew, ransom, and it means basically to be a walled city or a town where protection is provided. And God gives us an indication here. He says it will be a ransom for his life to the Lord when you number them, that there be no plague among them when you number them. So the idea of a ransom is that you're buying protection from the plague. Your obedience will be an avoidance to the potential for trouble, plague that could come. And so it is a ransom in that sense for every male 20 years old and above. Verse 13 says, each one who is numbered in the census shall give this, 1/2 a shekel as an offering to the Lord. So as the census is taken and the number of men 20 years old and above is numbered, each one of them will be required to give 1/2 a shekel to the Lord for this tax that God is imposing on the people. According to the shekel of the sanctuary, and then in a parentheses it has a shekel is 20 gerahs. Gerahs being the Babylonian equivalent of a shekel. I think I read in the study this morning that it's somewhere around like a 1/2 ounce of silver is the amount they would be paying. So for each person, it's pretty significant. Verse 14, everyone who is numbered in the census from 20 years old and upward shall give the Lord's offering. So there's no exclusion. God didn't exclude anyone here. He didn't say if you're 20 years old and above, but you have this, or you have that, or you need that, or you do this. No, everyone 20 years old and upward is going to pay this temple tax. Well, it will be known later as the temple tax because it will continue on into David's time and even up to the time of Christ. The temple tax will be being imposed on the males in the nation of Israel. Verse 15 says, the rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less than the 1/2 shekel when you give the Lord's offering to make atonement for your lives. So there isn't a grading system in the tax. If you make X amount of dollars, you pay this much. If you make X amount more, you pay this much. Nope. Everyone, regardless of their income, pays a 1/2 a shekel tax a year to the tabernacle for the purpose of its function. And so God is very clearly laying out the instructions. There's no exceptions and there's no variations. It's a 1/2 a shekel per man every year. Verse 16, you shall make atonement. You shall take the atonement money from the people of Israel and give it to the service of the tent of meeting, that it may bring the people of Israel to remembrance before the Lord, so as to make atonement for their lives. So here we've seen this word atonement 3 times in the last 2 verses. The idea of atonement is a sacrifice made to, we most often see it related to the sin offering. It's an atonement for sin. It's the payment or the penalty of sin being paid ahead or paid up. So here the 1/2 shekel, God describes it as a means of atonement. It's a means of maintaining the relationship with God in a right way that is not sinful, where they reap the benefits of that because the protection of God is theirs. He will watch over them. He will protect them. No plague is going to come against them. So it is a picture of atonement, which God describes again here in the verses multiple times in these 2 verses. And then God states the reason for the tax related to the ministry of the tabernacle. The ministry of the tabernacle was to bring the people of Israel to remembrance before the Lord. It was to bring them to the place of remembering God's deliverance, God's forbearance, God's forgiveness, God's provision. It was a way to bring them to that place of remembrance. And so when they went into the tabernacle to sacrifice, whether it was a sin offering or a peace offering or a wave, whatever the offering was, every time they went into the tabernacle, it was a time to be reminded of the deliverance of God, the work that God had done to provide for his people, and that he was continuing to do it even to that day. And so it's a picture of remembrance. And I looked at that this morning and I thought, it's beautiful that Jesus says, as he's giving the command to the disciples in relation to the Lord's Supper, that you're going to do this in remembrance. That every time you partake of it, you're going to be reminded of the ministry that I have among you, the ministry of forgiveness, the ministry of salvation, the ministry of preservation. I have this ministry among you, and it's there to remind you so you don't lose sight of what I've done. Same thing for the people of Israel, so as to make atonement for their lives. And so God is going to impose on the people of Israel this census tax. The purpose of it is to further the ministry in the tabernacle for the people of Israel with God, to be a reminder of God's blessing, a reminder of God's presence, a reminder of God's power, a reminder of God's deliverance. God is going to bring them to this place to help them keep their eyes fixed on him. He gives them the opportunity, and it's through this tax that he's going to fund it and make it possible, because it's going to cost money for the tabernacle to be maintained, to function on a day-to-day basis. And so what a beautiful thing that God provides. And the people will freely give as a result. And so our offerings, too, ought to be coming from a cheerful heart to the place where we are offered the opportunity to remember and to be instructed and to focus on God's power and presence and plan as we give our offerings even to the church, to the Lord for his church, as we give on a regular basis. So the census tax, God's going to impose it on the people. It has a purpose. That purpose is God's, and the people's purpose is to obey. And that's where we're going to leave that today. So thanks for taking time with me in the truth today. We'll jump back in tomorrow to verse 17, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. So have a great day. Lord bless you, and be faithful, because he always is. I'll see you then.